All right. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for being here today. Okay, so obviously wrapped up on USF the other night and certainly open to questions there, but preparation began immediately for Florida this week, and we'll go right to it. Let's go right to questions.
What does it mean to this program, any program for the state, to potentially have the ability to win the state? Last year you had success, USF got Florida State a couple of weeks. What does that mean as a program, seeing what's in front of you, what it means to win that?
Yeah, the state championship in the state of Florida is always going to be one of the highest goals that we have. These guys play against each other. The fan bases, alumni bases, they're at it all off season. There's a lot of there's deep meaning to it, so certainly very prominent in terms of that.
Mario, after 3 games, 3 wins, some of them, the Notre Dame game obviously different than the other 2 in a lot of ways, but all of them emotional. All of your guys have come in, at least the forward-facing stuff has been, yep, great. We got to look at tape. We got to get better. We got to clean things up, and that hasn't deviated. How pleased are you that seems to be the universal mindset in that room? That okay, we did this week. We got to get better next week, and that's been the MO every week so far.
I think it's spearheaded by everybody from players to staff. How really the only thing that matters to us right now is being focused on our job and not letting anything get in the way or anyone get in the way of us doing our job. So it's that simple, So that's been our focus.
Is that a sign of growth? Because the regimes that preceded you, it wasn't always the case. It might have even been the case probably in your first year here. Does it take time to establish this is the only way to really go about business?
I think so. I think the combination of continuity in the right spots and change in the right spots, as well as acquiring the right type of talent and really mature mentalities as it relates to being a professional in your approach to the game, understanding what lies on the other side if you don't prepare at the highest level, if you don't treat every single game and every single opponent with the same amount of respect. So that's contagious. So what you see is I think guys are playing more and more, not only together but for each other. And we've got a long ways to go, but we certainly have come a long way from that standpoint, and we'll continue working on a mentality until it looks exactly the way it should look.
Coach, do you have any updates on Jordan Lyle and Judge Trader since they didn't get in last week or last weekend?
Yeah, Jordan was ready at game time, and because he hadn't taken maybe as much work as we felt comfortable with, he didn't play, but he was ready to go. JoJo barely missed the cut to be ready, but he is ready to play this week and is full go.
How dangerous is it when the opponent comes in struggling? They come off a couple losses, their quarterback struggled this week with a lot of interceptions. Is that a case as a team you have to prepare for kind of an extra desperation from a team? Do you expect that in a matchup like this?
The part that has to be respected most is their talent level, their coaching, their size, speed, physicality. Schematically, they're very challenging in a lot of different ways. They've been playing elite defense for several games dating back to last season, and offensively, they've been very close on several occasions to having some great performances. So it's very clear they're an extremely talented team. They're well coached. They play hard, and for us, a great opportunity.
Mario, your offensive line's talked about how they want to be the ones to set the standard, set the tone for the offense through 3 weeks. How do you feel the group has done? And specifically with Brockermeyer integrating in at center, how has he done specifically?
He is a professional. He's a mature mindset we just referred to. He's a great leader. He's a tough guy with a super high care factor. He's a tremendous mentor. Down the line, towards the end of the year, he'll be a guy that leaves a tremendous legacy. I think the physicality of the defensive line and the offensive line is improving every week. We've progressed a lot. We're not where we want to be yet. We're not there. We think it has caught some the attention of the skill guys on both sides of the ball. We're improving in that area as well. But I would label it as progress. We've been improving. We've been getting better. But we certainly recognize across the board that we're not where we want to be yet, and that we have to keep working and improving.
Is it an edge that, obviously you have a lot of guys that played in Gainesville last year, but Carson has faced this team twice. Is schemes change, personnel changes, I get all that, but is it an advantage that Carson has played against Florida a couple of times?
You know, you never know, because when those teams come out the tunnel, you could be facing a completely different shift schematically. And so you prepare for everything historically, what teams have done and whatnot. But without question, to your question, experience at that position and understanding conceptually what we do versus what opponents show us is always a tremendous bonus. And certainly he takes a lot of pride in studying his opponents. So any insight from him certainly is welcome and respected.
You've talked about how Ruben Bay and Akeem Mesidor changed their bodies, conditioning, how that's helped them. I'm curious too, how much you think the system that Corey Heatherman has installed has helped enhance their ability to show what they can do as well.
Corey Heatherman was hired. Primarily what he does fits our personnel. We recruited a team that had explosive, fast twitch guys that can play with power, and it just lended to really maximizing the potential, the abilities of both those guys you just mentioned, as well as some other guys. So I think it's not just one person, it's not one player, it's not just one coach and one play caller. I think collectively everyone's contribution, you know, because you mentioned their bodies have changed and whatnot. There's a strength coach, there's a nutritionist, there's a player willing to do it and bought in to do it. There's a coach that's knowledgeable and understanding to put them in position to make to be more productive. And so certainly a lot of progress in those areas, and we feel like we still have a long ways to go.
All right, college game day is going to be in town. It's always a big thing for a program to have that kind of attention. What do you think about the attention this program is now getting nationally to have something like that come to campus?
I think that's for Cam Gorby to handle, you know, so that we can focus on the game. I think it's it's always an honor. You know, we Miami always grabbed a lot of attention, and over the past several years, it's been negative attention. So I think our players are very well aware of that, and so there's really nothing to talk about or focus on aside from the opponent and making sure that we spend every minute we can on preparation, on elevating the standards of how we prepare, and just digging deep and improving as a football team. I think everything else will take care of itself.
Mario, what's it been like watching a player like Chase Smith, who didn't really get a lot of playing time last year, to start to get his time and seize the opportunity that he's getting?
Yeah, Chase really showed up really strong this past game. He was physical, tackled well, very knowledgeable of the scheme now, feels very comfortable. Still has a ways to go, but is improving, communicated well, and we think he'll just keep getting better and better. You know, we're going to push him hard. He knows the areas he has to improve, but proud of him for fighting and for overcoming a tough injury a couple years ago, and now starting to play better and better football every single week.
After 3 weeks with this kind of revamped secondary, all these new guys kind of meshing together with the guys who are here, just how would you evaluate their play, you know, against a couple, you know, good quarterbacks, guys like C.J. Carr, Byron Brown?
I think we're progressing. We're getting better, and we've got a long ways to go. You know, we certainly we're understanding the scheme. We're playing hard. We're communicating better. So there's progress, but a long way to go.
We have to address. Sorry, Chris.
Just going back to Jordan and JoJo, how are each of them, if you could speak on how each of them were looking going into the year, and then maybe just kind of, obviously in different situations, but you've got guys at their positions that have been producing. How or what are the keys for them to get in there and be productive, or how challenging it is?
They were doing great. You know, they were doing great, and you know, JoJo got dinged up in camp and then got dinged up again a little bit. So it's a frustrating deal, but that's ball, you know, and we're fortunate to have guys that work their butts off at those respective positions. And as you get closer and closer to game time, you want full speed players, knowing that no one's going to be at 100%, right? 3 games in, you're nicked up all over the place. So, but you make the best decision always. You keep player health and safety at the forefront, and once that's clear, okay, how effective can he be for the team? And so that's kind of where it went, you know, with both those guys. And in the meantime, you also have guys like Pringle got more carries, developed. Chris Wheatley-Humphrey developed. Marty continues to develop. The wide receivers, you saw how many guys got playing time outside and inside. So That's the way you would like it to be. As guys are on the mends and work their way back, the guys that are in there work hard, respond, perform at a level that's progressing and getting better with miles to go, but also remind the guys that are coming back from injury, you better come back and work your butt off to regain your playing time.
Like you said, Mario, a lot of the attention in the last few years hasn't always been of the positive variety. Right now, you're getting first place votes in polls. You've got a Heisman favorite, according to some of the quote unquote experts. I know none of that stuff matters to you, but kids being kids, do you have to remind them that none of this stuff matters in September, or does this team not even need the reminder?
Well, I think as it relates to whoever has kids out there, teenagers or whatnot, like I feel like to quote an old mentor, you're fighting for their minds every single day. So assuming would be the worst thing that you can do. So yeah, the reminders are daily, and I think the reminders come in the form of really hard work and structured, challenging practices that can get the best out of each player, competitive practices that remind players that the best guys, the best performers will play, and that the week of practice does matter, and that your practice and execution is going to be reflected on your game day performance. So we're very honest, very transparent. We don't we just go right at it, and we think that's the best way. It's worked for us so far, and I think our guys are also very well aware of how many teams, including ourselves a year ago, can be humbled from one week to the next if you're not completely dialed into what you have to do.
What are some of the things that stand out about Florida this week?
Size, speed, strength, good technique and fundamentally, schematically challenging, powerful at the line of scrimmage, heavily invested in the trenches, powerful at running back, speed at wide receiver, both inside and out, and length and size outside as well. Large secondary, guys that can cover a lot of ground, a lot of length, multiple coverages, good at disguising coverages and pressures, sim pressures. Dynamic returner on special teams. Very talented football team, very well coached football team.
You knew what Carson Beck could possibly be showing it, but what does it mean for Ruben Bain to show what he can be? We saw glimpses of a couple of years ago with injuries. How good has it been to see him be the guy that I think behind the scenes you knew he can be?
Well, I think it's he's a local guy, man. Born and raised, right? Born to be a Miami Hurricane. And when you get banged up after such a highly touted freshman year, that could be really, really frustrating. It changes everything. When you come back, you're never fully back to where you were before the injury, and you really haven't had a chance to develop further than you did before your injury. So with the amount of time that he invests, and I guess the way schematically that he's been able to just get some plays that have been very impactful in the course of the game has been awesome to watch. I mean, this means a lot to him. His teammates mean a lot to him, and I think if you ask him, he'll tell you that he's got a long ways to go. That he's improved a bunch, but that there's a lot of things that he's working on to continue to get better, and he's looking forward to getting to practice and get right at it.
You almost broke a return on Saturday. Dylan has been pretty solid in what he's been asked to do. The kickers, obviously, we've talked about that before. Just how good do you feel about where special teams as a whole right now is?
They didn't get tested on Saturday. Obviously, they were tested more in game one. But from a coverage standpoint and Dylan's ball placement, hang time, operation time, the entire thing is, has really improved. Getting to a higher level, but still needs some more work. We got to be a little bit quicker getting it off. We got to hang the ball a little bit higher, place it a little bit better. There's some things that can really help our coverage teams, and we're going to keep challenging the kickers. Every single week they're competing against each other. That's going to keep them sharp, and we look at the end of every week and see what's best for the team, and kind of decide from there.
It's one of the first times this year that you've said the word operation. I mean, even across the NFL yesterday, you heard a team saying our operation's got to get sharper. You saw it with the Dolphins down the stretch and a whole bunch of other teams yesterday. Your operation's been pretty solid through 3 games.
Yeah, game 1, we had the snap that was a little bit wide, just past the fingertips. Ball was a little bit
I
wet.
mean, in general, not just special teams. I mean, just everything. It seems like plays are getting in. You're not taking not a lot of 12 guys on the field and that sort of thing. Like, and it just seems like all those areas are cleaned up and are probably close, if not exactly where you want them to be.
Getting better, We're getting better as a staff. We spend a lot of time on them. We got to spend more time on it. We did yesterday on the importance of that. We got caught with 12 on the field the other day for a play, and that's 10s and 12s. Can't have those, right? So, but getting better. Well, let's go.
Carson's been starting now for 3 games. I'm curious what you've liked or noticed about his leadership on game day, whether that's sideline demeanor, communication during a game with teammates, etc.
Yeah, genuine, real, strong, alpha. About the best thing was after an interception, his response was to, give me the ball. Let us get to work. And he uses the word us and we, which is, that hits strong when you're a coach, right? When you're anything as part of a team, right? You don't talk in I's and my and, me. This, his whole demeanor, his approach is very team driven, and his competitive response, it's what you want, and we challenge him every single day, every single week. So we expect that to continue to improve as the year goes on.
Speaking of special teams, this is probably a little bit nitpicky because Malachi Jones obviously had a great start to the year. It seems like on some punt returns, he maybe is fielding once he shouldn't be fielding, or should be letting go to the end zone. Is there anything that you've talked to him about, or that, any of the analysts have talked to him about how to handle those punt returns?
Yep, not good enough, Certainly some good decisions and some other ones where we could make a better decision and not put ourselves at risk of turning the ball over or putting ourselves in poor field position. So he's talented, he's smart, he can do things that most people can't. And he's been a great decision maker in the sense of, you saw one of his teammates about to get hit by a roller, he literally takes his teammate and pushes him off the field. So he understands the game really well, and we will work him and continue. We have worked him, we will continue to work him hard to make sure we get better at decision making processes.
Mario, with the tight end position, obviously you guys are coming off throwing the ball a lot of yards, receivers highly involved. Just your thoughts on their tight end production, what do you make of how they've been playing these first 3 games, other responsibilities that they have?
They've been playing good football, and still lots of areas where they can improve upon. The ball has found them sometimes, other times it hasn't, but they're a huge part of our offense, and will continue to be so going forward. So,
Probably the expectation on physicality is always going to be higher than where it is, but the progress in terms of Miami looks like one of the most physical teams in the country, Coach. Talk about the progress and the work that went into getting to where they are now.
well, when we watch ourselves on tape, we feel that we have a long ways to go. We feel that we've improved a lot, but we feel that every aspect of our game from a physical standpoint, from pad level to technique and fundamentals, could get better. You always want to be a team that plays with toughness and physicality, and that's both mental and physical. So there is some progress there, but we certainly, we feel like we have a long ways to go.
A couple more for Coach. You might have gotten lost in that. You did score 49 on them, but that was a good defense last week. It's good tacklers, they have good technique. Mark Fletcher, at times, kind of did whatever he wanted against them. Is this the best version of Mark that you've seen to this point?
There were a lot of dirty looks on Saturday, and initially, you probably saw there were a couple plays with penetration. They came out with a couple looks that, we were a little bit off we're a little bit off. Okay, I won't get into all the details of that, but so the onus is then on the back to, run through a guy, run by a guy, make a guy miss, and the fact that he is getting healthy is really exciting because you see consistent improvement, and his energy, his spirit, his heart, his leadership, his care factor is awesome. Mark Fletcher is a special young man. Big Mark is watching from above. I know he's extremely proud of his son, and he's a guy that you can't wait to go to practice and watch him practice because he's going to bring it. He's going to change the energy of the entire team. And so I guess I know it sounds boring, but Mark's come a long way and you got a long way to go.
I know the goal is
Last
1-0 every week, obviously,
Yes,
no
sir.
matter the opponent. But is there a different feel in the air this week when it is this week's opponent?
I don't, we stay process oriented because you know that games like this always carry with it, right, that entire, you know, the noise, the attention, the hype and all that stuff. So you don't spend a second on any of that stuff. If anything, you make sure that the main thing is kept the main thing. I think when you're a player and you come to the University of Miami, you come here for games and situations like the ones that we've been playing all year, including this one. But as it relates to the processes of what we have to do to continue to improve, which is number one, top of the food chain, got to keep improving every single week. Every ounce of focus is on preparation and doing our job.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay, thanks, guys.